Okay, so today we're going to be discussing factoring trinomials. So we need to use this X method is what we're going to be doing. So the quadratic standard form, a trinomial that has a squared term is called a quadratic. So standard form would be like a x squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are some numbers. So if you look here, like we have 1x squared plus 9x plus 14. So that means that a would be 1, b would be 9, and c would be 14. In this x thing, we have two blanks that we're trying to find. So it says find the two numbers that multiply to the top number and add to the bottom number. In our steps here, we've labeled A, B, and C. Now it says solve X method, find the correct factors. So in this X, at the top it says A times C. So A is 1, C is 14. 1 times 14 is 14. At the bottom is B, so that's your positive 9. So we're looking for the numbers, so two numbers that multiply to the top and add to the number on the bottom. So multiply the top, add to the bottom. So let's think of our factors of 14. Numbers that multiply to 14 are 1 times 14, 2 times 7, 3 does not go in evenly, 4 doesn't, 5 doesn't, 6 doesn't, 7 does, and it's already written. So now I'm thinking, if these add to 14, they check off the top. But if I add these together, I get 15, so not 9. If I add 2 and 7 together, I get 9. So those are my correct factors, 2 and 7. These two numbers is what I use in my problem. So step 3 says to split the B term with those factors. So my B term is my middle. I'm going to split this middle term into 2 and 7. But it's a 9x, so it's 2x plus 7x. Then I just need to drop the first one down, x squared, drop the last one down, plus 14. So I really didn't change the problem. I just expanded the middle piece, so I'm manipulating the numbers. Step 4 says factor by grouping, so the parenthesis party thing. So I'm going to group the first two together, last two together, plus some between them. Now we have what we did last class. What's the GCF of the first binomial? Well, I can divide out an x and an x. So divide out an x. X squared divided by x is x. 2x divided by x is positive 2. The second binomial, 7x and 14, can both be divided by 7. 7x divided by 7 is 1x. 14 divided by 7 is 2. So we just factored out the GCFs right there. Step 6, final answer is 2 binomials. So my final answer is going to be 2 binomials multiplied together. After I factor out the matching piece, the x plus 2, so I factored these out, all I'm left with there is the x plus 7. This is my final answer. Now let me show you checking this, and this is not something that you have to do for your homework, but I want to show you how you can check your answer. So if I were to check this, I will write it at the top here. So x plus 2 times x plus 7. We do what we learned last unit. X times x is x squared. X times 7 is 7x. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 7 is 14. Combine your like terms in the middle, so this would be x squared plus 9x plus 14. So we're able to get back to the original question. So we're undoing what we learned last unit. All right, so let's do some more examples. So these first four are going to be a little bit easier. So my first step, let's label A, B, and C. So A is 1, it's the number in front of the x squared. B is 7, C is 10. Step 2, solve the x. So at the top, A times C, at the bottom, B. So if you think about a house, your attic, AC, is above the basement. So A times C, 1 times 10 is 10. At the bottom, B, 7. So we should know our factors of 10, but I'm going to show you a shortcut on how to find them in your calculator if you just kind of brain fart. So if I grab my graphing calculator or your calculator on your iPad, if you press the y equals button and you put the number, we're trying to find factors of 10, or multiples of 10 here. If I type in 10 divided by x, and x is the button right next to the green button, XTON, 10 divided by x, then I press the second button, blue, and graph. Now this is showing me my factors. So 0 times, this is going to say error. I want the ones that are whole numbers. So 1 times 10 is 10. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times this decimal. So I throw that out, 5 times 2. Well, I already have 2 times 5. So really my factors are 1 times 10 and 2 times 5. Which one of those adds to 7? Well, 2 times 5 adds to 7. So the factors that I want to use are 2 and 5. Step 3, split the middle term with those. So I'm going to drop down x squared. Then a 7x is going to split into 2x and a positive 5x. Then I drop down the plus 10. Parenthesis party time, first two together, last two together, plus sign between them. Okay. Step 5, factor out the GCFs. So x squared and 2x, I can factor out an x. So this becomes x plus 2. X squared divided by x is x. 2x divided by x is 2. So I'm taking away one of those x's out of each. 5x plus 10, both can be divided by 5, so my GCF is positive 5. 5x divided by 5 is 1x. 10 divided by 5 is 2. My final answer should be written as 2 binomials multiplied together. So let's factor out the matching GCF here. So x plus 2 factors out. And the x plus 5 is what's left. Final answer. Now you might say, well, can I flip those? Sure, it could be x plus 5 times x plus 2. Either one is acceptable. Number 2. Oh, little typo here. We have x's and a's, so that is my fault here. Let's go ahead and make this an x. That's just a typo. So let's label A, B, and C. So if this is 1, A is 1, B is 12, C is 32. At the top of my x, A times C. So 1 times 32 is 32. At the bottom, we have 12. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to 32, add to 12. So if we go in our calculator, press y equals, we want 32 divided by x. Second graph. So 1 and 32, that adds to 33, so not that one. 2 and 16, that adds to 18. Nope. Skipping 3, 4, and 8, that adds to 12. So those are the factors that I want. Split my middle term, so x squared. And here, it doesn't matter if I do the 4 first or the 8 first, you'll still get the same thing. So plus 4x, plus 8x, and then drop down the 32. parenthesis party, first together, last two together, plus in between them. I can't factor out any whole numbers here, but I can factor out an x. X squared divided by x is x. 4x divided by x is just 4. 8 and 32 are both divisible by 8. So I can divide out an 8. 8x divided by 8 is x. 32 divided by 8 is 4. Because these match, that tells me I'm good to move on. If they didn't, that's like a red flag to find my mistake. So x plus 4, my matches here. I'm going to factor out that. And I'm left with x plus 8. Number 3. So now we have a minus sign in there. So it might look a little bit different. So first, let's label A, B, and C. So A equals 1, B equals negative 13, C equals 22. So I'm going to build my x. At the top, A times C. 1 times 22 is 22. At the bottom is negative 13. So now, I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to negative or to positive 22, but then they add to negative 13. The only way for numbers to multiply to a positive and then add to a negative is if they're both negative. So if I go to my calculator and I go y equals 22 divided by x. Second graph. 1 plus 22, well that's 23. So I'm going to arrow up to get to negative. Negative 1 plus negative 22 is negative 23. Nope. Negative 2 plus negative 11. That's negative 13. So negative 2 and negative 11. Split my middle term. So x squared minus 2x, using these, minus 11x plus 22. Parenthesis party, first two together, last two together, plus in between them. Notice how the negative has to be with the 11. That's important. GCF of the first binomial, I can take out an x. So each of these just drops an x, so x minus 2. GCF of the second binomial, 11 and 22 are both divisible by 11. So if I did negative 11x divided by 11, I would get negative 1x. I want it to be positive 1x, so I divide negative 11 out. This is a special case. Negative 11 divided by positive 11 is positive 1x. 22 divided by negative 11 is negative 2. These match. Tells me it's okay to move on. Factor out the match of x minus 2, and I'm left with x minus 11. Notice minus 2, x minus 2, minus 11, x minus 11. You still need to show this work. This is only true for problems where the first term is 1. So let's try another one. So we have A is 1, B is negative 2, C is negative 48. So now we have two negative numbers. Let's build our x. A times C at the top. 1 times negative 48, negative 48. B is at the bottom, negative 2. So now, they multiply to a negative, which tells me one of the numbers should be negative. Because they add to a negative, that tells me the larger in quantity of the two will end up being the negative one. So in my calculator, I'm going to type in y equals negative 48 divided by x. Second graph. So now when I look at my factors here, I have negative 2 and 24 because I didn't scroll back down. So when I add those together, I get 22. If you struggle with your addition, go second mode, type in negative 2 plus 24. positive 22. I need it to be negative. So on the second graph, I'm going to go back the other way, closer to 0. 1 plus negative 48 is negative 47. So I need them way closer together. 2 plus negative 24 is negative 22. 3 plus negative 16 is negative 13. Keep going. 4 plus negative 12 is negative 8. Skip that one. 6 plus negative 8, that's negative 2. So really, I also needed them to be 2 apart. 6 and 8 are 2 apart. So negative 8, positive 6. So in theory, remember how I said this here? We should probably get x minus 8 and x, or we're dealing with y's, y minus 8 and y plus 6 at the end. Let's check that. Break down your b term. So y squared will come down. Minus 8x, y's, minus 8y, positive 6, so plus 6y, minus 48. Parenthesis party, first two together, last two together, plus sign between them. And again, these could have been flip-flopped, it still would have worked. GCF of the first binomial is just y. Y squared divided by y is y to the first. Negative 8y divided by y is negative 8. GCF of this binomial, 6 and 48, I could divide both of those by 6. 6y divided by 6 is just y. Negative 48 divided by 6 is negative 8. These match. I'm good to move on. Factor out my GCF of y minus 8, and I'm left with my matches. My y plus the 6. Y minus 8, y plus 6. So this shortcut works if your first term is 1. That's a good way to check your work. We're not using the shortcut right now. I need to know if you can do these steps, because now we're going to step it up a notch and deal with bigger numbers. 3 more, and we still have the exact same steps. This is exactly what I had for you on the other side. Just wanted you to have that reminder. So number 5. A is 7, the number with the squared. B is 16. C is 9. So build your X. At the top, your addic, A times C. So 7 times 9, 63. At the bottom is your B, your basement, which is 16. So I want factors of 63. 63 divided by X. Second graph. So 1 and 63, that adds to 64. Nope. Skip this one, not whole number. 3 and 21, that adds to 24. Nope. Skip it, skip it, skip it. 7 and 9, that adds to 16. Those are the terms I want. 7 and 9. You will see how I can't just have x plus 7 and x plus 9. It does not work for here, so we're not using that shortcut. Drop down your first term, 7x squared. Drop down one of these, so plus 7x. We're splitting an x term, they'll stay x's. Plus 9x, drop down the plus 9. My goal is to have 4 terms so I can do the factor by grouping. So now we're at step 4, factor by grouping, parenthesis party. What's my GCF of my first binomial? Well, I can divide both of these by 7, and I can divide out an x. 7 divided by 7 is 1, x squared divided by x is x. 7 divided by 7 is 1, x divided by x cancels. 9x plus 9, I can divide both of those by 9, so I'll have a plus 9. 9x divided by 9 is 1x. 9 divided by 9 is 1. These match. My final answer is my two binomials multiplied together. Factor out the match, so x plus 1. I'm left with 7x plus 9. Number 6. Two more together here. If you feel confident, I would pause the video and try them on your own and then play and follow along with me. So A is 5, B is negative 14, C is negative 3. Build your X. At the top, A times C. So A times C. So 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. At the bottom, B, negative 14. Two numbers that multiply to a negative means one of them has to be negative. Because they add to a negative means the larger quantity of the two is negative. So for this one, we'll have negative 15, positive 1. And if you'd like to see that in the calculator, y equals negative 15 divided by x, second graph. And if you put minus 15 here, it's going to throw some kind of error code, FYI. 1 plus negative 15 is positive, or negative 14. So those are the terms I want. These terms split my middle term. So I have a's, I'll make sure to use the letter A. 5a squared drops down, minus 15. Minus 15a, then I have 1, so plus 1a. Drop down the minus 3. Grouping first two together, last two together, plus sign between them. 15a squared minus 5a squared minus 15a. I could divide those both by 5, and I could divide out an a. 5 divided by 5 is 1. A squared divided by a is a. Remember, we're subtracting those powers. Negative 15 divided by a is negative 3. A divided by a, cancel. Well, this already matches here. So 1a minus 3, what's my GCF? Well, they cannot be divided by any number other than 1. And what's great about this is since they already match, I want them to stay matching. So how do I make something not change? I can just divide it by 1. So this would be a minus 3, or 1a minus 3. Now they continue to match. I must have this 1 here. If not, something's wrong. Final answer, factor out my GCF, which is a minus 3. I'm left with 5a plus 1. If you don't get two binomials, so two sets of parentheses with two things in each, you did something wrong. Try to go check your steps. If you didn't already, pause the video, try 7 on your own. All right, so we got a equals 4, b equals negative 15, c equals negative 54. Build your x. A times c. 4 times negative 54. Big number. Second mode. 4 times negative 54. Negative 216. At the bottom are b, negative 15. All right, so I know these numbers are going to be, one of them is going to be negative, the bigger is going to be negative. But they're going to be kind of close to each other. They're going to be only 15 apart. So I'm going to press y equals negative 216 divided by x. Second graph. So I need the bigger number to be negative, which is how it starts out. So I'm going to go and add these. I need them to be 15 apart to be even close. So like 4 negative 54. Those are 50 apart. So like when I add them together, I get 50. So we need them closer. So here, 6 and negative 36, that's negative 30. So getting closer. 8 and negative 27, negative 19. 9 and negative 24, that is negative 15. If you need to check, second quit, 9 plus negative 24, negative 15. So negative 15, positive 9. So I'm going to drop down the 9 first. I'm going to split the middle term. So we're dealing with y's. So I have 4y squared plus 9y, splitting this one, minus 15y. I wrote that down wrong. It was 24. So this term here should be negative 24. Because now negative 24 plus 9 is negative 15. So I'm going to fix that one. Just made a little mistake. Minus 24y. Caught it early though. That's fine. Drop down, minus 54. All right. Parenthesis party. First two together, last two together. Plus sign between them. So, what's my GCF of 4y squared plus 9y? 4 and 9, they are not divisible by any number larger than 1. So let's do the y's. Y squared and y, I can divide out in y. 4y squared divided by y becomes 4y. 9y divided by y is positive 9. All right, 24 and 54. We have a couple thought processes. I know I want these to match, so I could be thinking, well, how do I get from negative 24 to a positive 4y? So what's negative 24 divided by 4? Negative 6. Here's another method. I could find my GCF or GCD of 24 and 54. So I'm going to press the math button. Math. Arrow over to num. Option 9 or GCD. Enter. 24, comma's right above the 7. 54. Enter. So their GCF or GCD is 6. Because I need it to flip signs from negative to positive, I should be dividing by negative 6. And now let's check this. Negative 54 divided by negative 6, positive 9. So now they do match. My final answer, 2 binomials multiplied together. Take out your GCF of your matching pieces. I'm dividing that out. So 4y plus 9. And I'm left with y minus 6.